Weekend News, our editor-in-chief sat down with Rob Burrows to talk about an initiative at reducing paper cup consumption on campus.
Starting this week, there will be a 25-cent tax on all paper disposable cups sold at Gracie's and at the Library Cafe. Here to talk about that is Acting Environmental Issues Committee Chair Rob Burrows. So what's going on, Rob?
So what we're doing is we're adding a tax or a surcharge on top of all coffee, tea sales that we'll make at both Gracie's and at the Flying Bean. Mainly because we've discovered that we use a lot of paper cups. So last year, as a community, we went through 25,000 paper cups, which is quite a lot considering there are only 2,500 students. Mm-hmm. And if you take into account, who eats where, we find out that per capita, it's a lot of cups. And so what we've decided to do is that we already made the transition so that these paper cups are compostable. So in theory, we could put them through the Big Hannah composter. But our next step now is that we really want to start cutting down on consumption. And we've got a lot of our policies in place as the committee that will target the physical aspect. And now we're trying to get into the behavioral aspect of things. And so we're hoping that what this tax will do is that it will prompt people to start thinking about how many cups do I need to use? Do I really need to have 2 cups because my coffee is so hot? Or can I reuse a cup after getting my first glass of coffee or whatever it is? Can I bring my own travel mug or whatever and whatnot like that? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're trying to do, and so we're going to run that through the month of March, and then possibly to the end of classes, just to see if there actually is some fluctuation in consumption. Hopefully it's going to result in a reduced consumption in paper cups on campus, which is good for us. It shows that we're really working at that. And the idea is hopefully in the long run we won't need a tax. Or a surcharge on top of the sales, because everyone will have their own reusable cups and whatnot like that.
So there already was a 10-cent surcharge on top of that. So why the increase? Why now?
Well, it came again, so the 10-cent thing has been around for a couple of years. And it's a new group of students, it's a new generation of Mount A students that we're facing, or that we're dealing with. And we've realized that the 10 cents, after a while, people forgot about it. And again, that has to do with the turnover. It has to do with the fact that we didn't market it quite as well as we wanted to a couple of years ago. There's been a little bit of a change in terms of the leadership and the direction and the focus of the committee as well. And that's, we're getting really the support that we need to get now. And admin services and the dining services as well. They've been very, very cooperative in this. And part of their mandate as well is to reduce the amount of waste that they're going through. And so we think that this is, it's not outrageous in terms of the surcharge if you want to use a cup, but at the same time we think that it's large enough and a big enough jump up from the 10 cents that says that we should start paying attention.
Mm-hmm. So where will this extra money be going?
So Dining Services has a fund, a green fund. The name escapes me right now, but it's something along the lines of a green budget. So it's for sustainability projects, and they've actually used it. I mean, most of the money that they save, they put back into projects. So, for example, the Big Hannah, that was through the ancillary fund, and that was to ensure that the Jennings itself, which is connected to a lot of the on-campus activities, can process its food waste properly instead of. We were spending $32,000 a year just getting rid of food from Jennings, which that's a lot of money just to get rid of food that we now can deal with on our own. So we consume 60,000 kilos of food as a student body through Jennings, and then we're going to output about 20,000 kilos of compost at the end. We're reaching the end of the first 8-week test cycle, so we'll have our first samples. And then that's, it's those kinds of projects where this money is going to. We try and come up with new ideas, and by we, I mean, Michelle Strain really is the driving force behind that. And so she does a lot of the work behind what the admin services and what the dining services can really do in terms of improve their sustainability on campus.
Right. So students can expect to charge, as of this week?
Yep, so they'll get an email sometime this week.
Okay.
We're planning, the plan right now is either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay.
During the day, and it'll be effective pretty much immediately once we can get the signage and everything up. And we're also speaking with several people on campus, the Argosy as well as included, and the bookstore to start getting some sales and to start advertising some reusable mugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that people can take advantage of this. We'd like to get some people, more of that on campus. And the idea in the long run is that, as I said, we won't need to have a tax anymore because the
Right.
culture here will be that we use reusable mugs
Yeah.
or high mugs.
Well, there's lots of places in town you can get a reusable mug, including the bookstore, Cackling Goose, Jean Coutu, and the dollar store, I'm sure. And as well, the Argosy has some mugs that are now offering a limited time price of only $6. Now, we only have very few of these, so make sure you look for these on campus or drop by the office to pick yours up. Here you go, Rob.
Thanks very much.
Hey everyone, my name is Rob Moran, the sports editor here at the Argosy, and I'm joined by Ray Perkin, the sports writer. We're just going to fill you in on what's happened in the past little week and a bit. So Ray, what happened with the Bounties hosting a Women's Hockey Championships?
Well, the tournament went off very successfully. Having been at the tournament at St. FX 2 years ago and then at Dalhousie last year, I can say that this tournament was very well organized and very well put together. And the Mounties made a good showing. They didn't qualify for the championship game due to the format that the pools take, but they played very well against St. FX in their first game, even though it was a loss. And then in their second game, they managed to beat UPEI, so ending their season on a winning note. Definitely good for the Mounties. Megan Corley-Byrne was amazing in net, really. She led the tournament in save percentage. And yeah, the Mounties had a good performance in both games. Overall, St. FX won the tournament and are actually going to nationals, which start Thursday in Toronto. They beat St. Mary's in the championship game, and St. Mary's had strong performance from their goalie, Sienna Cook, in getting to the championship game, as well as killing off 22 minutes of power play time against St. Thomas on Saturday's game. So strong performances from all the teams there. 7 games in the tournament total, and not a single game was dull. They were all really exciting. When you were there, you can speak for that.
They're all really exciting, and I mean the fans from UPEI brought cowbells, so I had a great experience. Sort of the whole crowd that was there and the experience of having that. Some of the Moncton fans got a little rowdy there in their game, but I mean there was obviously those.
Yeah, definitely a great atmosphere all around from fans from every team.
Yeah. In volleyball, our women's team lost in the semifinal 3-0 to St. Thomas in straight sets. But that wasn't the story of the weekend. It was the story of the weekend was Erica Cronkite and Caitlin McDonald. Erica Cronkite was named a first-team All-Star and took home Libero of the Year award, while Caitlin McDonald was named a second-team All-Star for the team.
That's the second year in a row Erica's been Libero of the Year for the conference. So
Yeah, it's really good for her. In basketball, I mean, the men's and women's team, they went off to ACAA basketball championships in Fredericton this past weekend, and the men's basketball team experienced a great amount of success, even though they lost in the quarterfinal.
yeah, Ben Chisholm was named Player of the Year, and I only went to see. I only caught a couple of the men's games this year, but whenever I went, it seemed like it was just Ben Chisholm just taking over and dominating the other team.
Yeah, he usually has a good dunk show going on, usually electrifies the crowd for at least a little bit. So that's something that he's been noted for in his time here at Mount A. On the women's side, the women actually went to the semifinals and got blown out by the eventual champions from St. Thomas in the semifinal. But they did have a good quarterfinal win over
Holland College?
Holland College, yeah. Holland College. There are many schools there, and any of the schools could have beaten them. But Holland College was the team that they beat.
And Mackenzie Gray was honored as a first-team conference All-Star. So
Yeah,
good for her.
That was good for her. The last sports update that we have for you comes in the sport of swimming. Both Mitch and Maria Peters were in Calgary this past week, I think it was, or a week and a half ago, when women's hockey championships were going on. They did not advance in any of their races, but the story of the whole event was the UBC Thunderbirds and Calgary Dinos stealing the show from everyone.
Yeah, and I know Mitch was battling the flu, and talking with his dad earlier in the week, Mitch was battling the flu throughout the week, so he still managed to put up pretty impressive numbers at the races despite that. And worth noting too that 12 Olympians competed in the CIS meet, which they were at, so that's kind of cool.
The bronze medalist from 2012 in long distance swimming, Richard Weinberger, he competes for University of Victoria, and he actually finished third in his event, which shows the competitiveness to which Canadian swimming at the university levels become. Thank you very much for this sports update. I'm Robert Murray, he's Ray, and we'll see you in the paper.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Last night, Black Tie debuted The Full Monty, their 9th annual production. It takes place at Con Hall, and it's a musical based on the film and book of the same title. It's described as a fun comedy that shows a little more skin than your average musical, and it features lots of talented Mount Allison students. You can pick up your tickets at Tidewater Books or the Massey office. They're $10 for adults if you buy them in advance, and they're $15 at the door or $12 for students and seniors. Go see the show.
Hey there, do you like getting into events for free?
And are you interested in photography?
Well, now's your chance. I'm Leah,
And I'm Corey.
and we're the photo team for the Argosy.
Swing by Thursday at 5:30 on the 3rd floor of the Walls McCain Student Center.
Can't wait to see ya.